We are in a critical time in America with discussions and questions surrounding the First Amendment. Fast Forward Films, in partnership with the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition and CoLab, has invited Colorado media to participate in the new Free Press, Free Country project. It's a civic education media literacy campaign created for all Coloradans. Part of the project is a new broadcast documentary called Truth Be Told, which will air right here on 9 News this Sunday. Here's a trailer for that documentary.
We're trying to tell the truth.
News is important. News is critical.
We got to be the watchdog. You're in the media, you lean left, you're liberal, you're this, you're that. I'm not leaning one way or another.
We're in a really dangerous spot.
People don't have the patience to always get the whole story.
We have this problem, and it's a lack of news media literacy.
I think there's a lot of threats to truth.
It's a tricky time. We're being attacked for being biased.
People see CNN and MSNBC as slanted, Fox News as slanted. So of course your local news must also be slanted in some way. And we're not.
People don't understand what the difference is between facts and opinion. Some of them don't care, and they don't care if people are allowed to use alternative facts.
We're under assault from social media and AI. Holy crap.
It's an opportunity. There's a large percentage of the population that want independent journalism.
We are here to hold government to account and to give the public information it needs to make decisions.
What we do is to be careful, is to pay attention, is to know what to look out for so that we can get it right and get it clear.
I have to take hard to understand topics, make them easy to understand in a visually compelling way in 2 minutes or less, and hope that you got all that you needed to get out of it.
And trust is the glue in our broader systems, and we need those systems to function. Journalism is one of those important systems that we need in a democracy.
If people aren't informed, they can't be involved, they can't make decisions. If you aren't involved in a democracy, other people make the decisions for you.
If we lose journalism, we're probably losing democracy, because then you're just getting state-fed news from a government that only wants you to believe whatever they want you to believe.
The work we do is too important to let it go.
We really are defenders of democracy.
How do we rebuild trust? We do good work, even when we're under attack.
Keep journalism alive.
Wow. Joining me now to talk about this is award-winning documentary filmmaker Brian Malone. Brian, you produced this along with your wife, Cindy. First off, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks. It's great to be invited.
Lots of familiar faces in that trailer here at 9 News. Could we start by talking about how you went about putting this documentary together?
Well, as you know, this is a tricky time for journalism. Yeah. So I felt like this was the time to really try to shine a spotlight on local journalism. And, you know, there's a recent Gallup poll out right now that 7 out of 10 Americans mistrust journalists right now. It's an all-time low, 28%. But there's a caveat to that. When people are asked about local journalists, they say, no, I don't mean you. I don't mean local journalists. They're talking about, you know, national news, national journalism. So this project is really meant to shine a spotlight on the local journalists, the folks that are out there on the front lines, really doing those stories that matter to Coloradans on the front lines, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We saw Byron, Marshall, even our news director, Linda's in this.
For sure.
You went all across the state, though, gathering perspectives from different journalists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you might remember the folks at the Uray Plain Dealer from a couple of years ago. Their newspapers were stolen out of their newspaper, and they made national news, international news. So I went back and visited those folks and looked at all of the work that they're doing down there in Uray County. Great. Some folks at Colorado Public Radio. There's a little station down in on the Southern Ute tribe, KSUT. they lost 20% of their funding from the rescission package, and they're scrapping it out down there, trying to keep their station on the air right now.
Yeah.
It's a tough time to be a journalist right now.
When we talk about that trust factor, there are a lot of takeaways from this documentary that
Yeah.
revolve around that. What do you think is the biggest thing news consumers in today's environment need to know?
Well, look, there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a fire hose of information that all of us on the other side of the screen have to deal with all the time. I mean,
Right.
this is constant, and we're all addicted to it. I mean, there's no way around it, but there are some simple tips. And part of this project, this film, is part of a bigger project that I created called Free Press, Free Country, and some of you may be aware of it. There have been this 12-part series called A Matter of Fact that have been airing on 9 News Next for the last 12 weeks. Some of you may be familiar with that. This documentary is also part of that project. The overall goal of this is to help Coloradans be better news consumers, smarter news consumers, so they're not disenfranchised, so that they're more engaged and become smarter. So I have just like three simple takeaways that people can, if nothing else,
Yeah.
3 things. So let me give you 3 tips. 1, when you read a story, if you want to know more, maybe read from 3 different sources. Mm-hmm. Read a story on 9 News, then maybe read it on the Denver Post, maybe read it on the Colorado Sun. Compare and contrast. That's a simple thing to do. Takes a few seconds. Read the first couple of paragraphs. Second, this is hard. And when you used to have newspapers, there was the news segment, and then there was the opinion page, right? It was easy. They were separate physical pages. It's more difficult now online, but look for an opinion page. Look for stories that say opinion or commentary. A legitimate news source will have it clearly labeled.
Now, Brian, that can be difficult with cable news channels, where often opinion and news are melded together.
Correct.
So what's your advice there?
All right, so that leads me into my third point. This is where you need to kind of put on your thinking cap.
Yeah.
So point number 3, if you're reading something and you feel like you're being emotionally baited, if you have like overt adjectives, or you feel like maybe the story has kind of a tone almost like schoolyard bullying, like there's an attack on someone, or someone's being, bullied in a way, you got to ask yourself, is that really a fair news story? And so I would question that kind of news story. Again, go back to point 1. Maybe read the same story from multiple sources.
Right. Great tips, Brian. And I imagine all of these are touched on in that documentary.
You bet.
You mentioned no Broncos game this Sunday.
You got it.
So
you got it.
People really need to tune in for this. Here's how folks can watch it. It'll be on 9 News on KUSA at 10:30 a.m. This is again Sunday. Or on Channel 20, KTVD, at 7 o'clock in the evening this Sunday to see the 1-hour Truth Be Told documentary in full. Then we'll have a panel discussion immediately after, hosted by our Kyle Clark. And you can also watch this on 9 News Plus. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. Looking forward to watching that on Sunday.
All right, great. Thank you.